Hi, I'm Diane McKiernan, producer at Penguin Random House Audio, and today I am chatting with Nicole Lewis on Meet the Voice. Hi, Nicole. Thanks for chatting with
Hi.
me.
Hi,
Uh,
Diane.
Hi. So tell me about the very first audiobook you narrated.
My dad used to record my sister and myself reading as kids. So, officially, the first audiobook is Pierre, a cautionary tale in 5 chapters, and a prologue by Maurice Sendak. So, yeah, there's a recording of that somewhere. Yeah, that officially. But What We Lose by Zinzi Clemmons. Yeah, I was a real novice in the room, and I have to say thank goodness for the director of that project, who was Garrett Scott. She was great on that, guiding me through it. But it was fun. There were a lot of accents. There was a South African accent, and there were characters, and there was a lot of variety. So I felt responsible for a lot of it, and had to do the research and whatnot. But it was a definite learning experience in terms of being in this booth, this sound isolation where you can hear your heartbeat or your stomach growl, It winds up, it's a really cool, very intimate experience.
That sounds like a really good first experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first time I listened to an audiobook that you narrated was Such a Fun Age by Kiley, Reid, which I just loved. And I knew I wanted to hire you. And the first thing we ended up working on together was a potty training book, The First Time Parents Guide to Potty Training by Jasmine Makkai.
Yeah.
And so Such a Fun Age, one of the things I loved when I listened to it was the way you differentiated the characters who were so different, but kept a sense of authenticity for each of them. And can you just speak a little bit about how you're able to do that with your voice?
It's interesting because I'm teaching a class right now at Emerson College on voiceover, and I'm finding, how do I teach this? What is it that I do? And I have a firm belief always, they are real people. So I'm a people watcher. So I really, and a listener, and I'm from New York. So we have such a variety of sounds and cultures and voices. And I'm a listener and an observer, and I really come from what the core of the person's want is, really, or who they are in the world. Are they a party girl? Are they, shy? Is it about being introverted, extroverted? And honestly, the imaginative life of it, the imagination is first. That's the first thing that compels me to a voice. And also who they are and what they want in the book. Are they really front-footed? That'll affect the cadence and the rhythm of the person. Are they slower paced? Is it more like, is it a tortoise and the hare kind of thing? Sometimes I come up with animal thoughts, but really it's about visualizing them in my mind and who I've seen and who I, believe that they are. And that's on some level a real marriage between the evocative images that in Such a Fun Age, Kiley writes, and then my imagination meeting together to produce this audible experience, an auditory experience. That's what I want to say. So, which is wild because, right, even when we're listening to audiobooks, and I like listening to audiobooks, it's that person's voice is so key, and I will get bored very easily if it's just monotone, straight facts and whatever. Not interested whatsoever. But if I have a person who's telling the story, especially even the narrator has a point of view.
You mentioned that you listen to audiobooks. What kind of audiobooks do you like to listen to?
I really liked Educated by
I
Tara
produced that
Westover.
one. That was wonderful. Yeah. I mean,
See?
Julia Whalen's amazing. Yeah.
Oh my God. I really liked that audiobook. It was, well, clearly so well done. But I like that kind of stuff. I do like nonfiction. I like biographies. I like the I like to hear people's voices. I like the authenticity of that. I like, and even though it wasn't Tara Westover reading it, it really felt like it.
How was the transition? Because I know you've acted, you're a theater actor, TV, film. How was the transition from doing that kind of acting to your first audiobook? And did anything surprise you about that?
Yeah, I've done a lot of different media. So yeah, I've been on Broadway, and that absolutely is the last. Well, the last show I did was Frankie and Johnny and the Claire de Lune, but the when I did Hair, that was a little while ago. But that, really extroverted energy is profound, and I personally, I need that kind of energy, which is why like exercise is good and moving around. And so I think the major difference is the stillness in a way, right? I have to be able to move somewhat, but not so much that I'm like creating airflow or, that's going to like go up against the mic or bump again, hit anything that's going to make a sound, right? So it's actually taught me a lot about focused energy and streamlining my energy and really being simple with things, that not everything has to be like, hilarious, funny, there's a gorgeousness to subtlety. And I am loving that now, especially really being able to stay connected and vulnerable and in the moment. I would say that it's much closer to on-camera work that I've done as well, right? It's not like it's smaller. It's just focused differently. And it's it can be more intimate. I think I certainly can like hide behind a persona that's like, hey, I'm back, I'm out here, right? Showtime. But, and there's a value in that, sure, of course. And then there's also, I would say, and I've done more plays since Hair and since the more musicals, but I found myself really enjoying that kind of focused, connectedness that is the epitome of it is in, I think, audiobook. It's so vulnerable. We don't think about it, but the voice is so vulnerable, so personal. And being a singer as well, I still love to sing, but it's taught me a lot about singing. And also singing has helped me a lot with voice production for voiceover. One thing that is very surprising was listening back the first few times to my voice and thinking, I didn't know it sounded like that. And of course, we don't know. Like what it sounds like in here is not what it sounds like outside. Resonators are different. Everything is affecting that sound. So that was a huge surprise, actually. And going back and thinking, oh, I thought I was so cheerful, and I'm like deadpan. That kind of thing is wild, because I thought, oh, okay, I really do need a little more energy there. It's interesting. So it's dependent upon like really flowing energy, imagination, focused, it's not about like pushing something or making it happen. It's just like really living inside of it, so whatever gestures do come up for the people, or they're, they might be a way that they sit or not, something about getting into the body of it really helps the voice and the imagination.
So how often do you go back and listen to the audiobooks that you've narrated? You mentioned listening to yourself. Do you do that often?
No. No, it is so, I shouldn't say that. I probably won't listen to the whole thing, but I'm always curious. I'm like, how does it sound? I just finished one and I was like, well, what did it come out like? Which is like, because I want to know, but I will obsess about, every little thing. Oh, I should have done that differently. So I'm like, it's out, it's done, Godspeed. and I did my best. And that's like all I can do, and if that was that on that day, it is recorded, preserved in perpetuity. And so I have to be okay with that and just allow it to be.
This was so much fun, Nicole. Thank you so much for chatting with me on Meet the Voice.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It's always great to chat with you, honestly. You get it. You get it. You get me.